afraid. God is coming to stay, and your baby boy will prepare the way. That's right, your wife is pregnant today. These were the words that were spoken by the angel to Zechariah. These were the words that broke 400 years of silence. And do you remember how Zechariah told his wife Elizabeth the good news? He didn't just say it, he had to write it down on a tablet. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Kindle or iPad, Microsoft or Google. None of those. A tablet was more of a stone that you had to write on. When the angel told Zechariah the good news, Zechariah did not believe the angel. It seemed unbelievable, and I can't really blame him for thinking that. Zechariah questioned the angel, so the angel said to him, Zechariah, God has something to say. Because you didn't believe the words that I have spoken, you won't be able to talk until your son is born. You have a mouth and a tongue, teeth and lips, but no voice. You will be silent, Zechariah. And he was. Zechariah left the temple that day unable to speak. When he left that day, he had to use gestures and motions and wrote on a tablet, and it didn't take long for people to realize that he couldn't talk. Do you like playing the quiet game? I don't. It's hard to sit quietly for 1 minute or 5 or even an hour, but 9 months without talking, that's 394,200 minutes. Zechariah was basically the world champion of the quiet game. God was teaching Zechariah to listen and to trust him. And for 9 months of silence, God was with Zechariah, even when it was hard, even when people didn't understand what he was trying to communicate to them, even when he and probably his family and friends thought maybe he would never speak again. God was with Zechariah. And after 9 long months of waiting, the baby was born. The baby of promise. Elizabeth and Zechariah's family and friends expected the baby to be named Zechariah after his father. But Elizabeth said no. His name will be John. No one expected that. No one in their family was named John, so they turned to Zechariah, who was still unable to speak, and asked him. Unable to speak, he wrote on a tablet, "His name is John." Zechariah had learned how to listen to God. He had learned how to trust God, and he began to speak. What probably started as a whisper soon turned to a thunderous song. He began to sing. And when I think about this scene in the Bible, I see a proud and loving father who is overcome with love for his son, filled with joy about being a father, and excited and awestruck about what God was doing in the world. As he gathered his family and friends around, he just continued to sing. And it was an old familiar song, but with new life. Maybe he stood on a table, maybe he stood on the roof, maybe he stood on his head. But he sang the song with his entire heart. God couldn't remain. Sin drove him away. But now he has heard what we hoped and prayed. God is coming to earth to stay. When I think about the scene of Zechariah announcing to his family and friends the good news of what God is doing, it reminds me just a little bit of another Christmas movie, the movie Elf. There's a scene in the movie where Buddy the Elf says, "The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear." When Christmas cheer gets a bit low, some of the characters in the movie start joining together and singing. And slowly the singing spreads and spreads, and Christmas cheer grows and grows. It gets bigger and bigger. Zechariah was celebrating. He was celebrating the good news of the birth of his son. But more than that, he was celebrating what God was doing in the world. Good news is best when we share it with others. This year has been a lot of things, but it certainly has not been easy. But there have been good things that have happened this year. Many of you have spent more time with your family than ever before. Yeah, trips were canceled or postponed, but you got creative and made your own fun at home. You found ways to do drive-by birthday parties and outdoor distanced gatherings. That doesn't mean we forget about the hard things that happened this year, and it's okay to be sad about the things that were canceled. It's okay to be sad about the hard things. But when we do find those happy moments, when we do find joy, when we do find a reason to celebrate, we should shout that as loudly as we can. We have 1 more week till Christmas. Can you believe it? Just 1 more week. Let's celebrate like we never have before, because God has come to earth to stay.